Hey everybody, Sean here from the Black Page, talking to my friend Rich Redmond. Woo! We finally met after 4 years, known each other for 4 years, e-greeted a million times.
That's right.
And we've now finally met here at PASIC 2012. Rich, how are you, my friend?
Good.
Really good to meet you.
Meet you in the flesh, yeah.
So,
we got our chucks.
Yeah, both of us have our chucks. I got the blue, Rich is the off gray. Looking good, looking good. So last we talked, 4 years ago now.
Can't believe it.
So much. I would say of all the drummers in the world, literally, you've probably advanced your career the furthest, I think, than anyone. I mean, the Crash Course for Success, the Jason Aldean gig. I mean, the last time we talked, you guys were an opener, and you sold out Fenway Park just recently in 7 minutes.
That's crazy.
Man. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and then Boston, it's is that a country music town? I don't know, but I guess
it is.
Country music is the new. I don't know. It's the new music of the people. It's like it knows no boundaries as far as like age and sex. It's just it's fun. Man. I'm glad to be part of that ride.
Yeah. So one of the things that I really love about your playing, this was actually a recent video a friend of mine shared and said, you have to check out this drummer. He has to redo a track. He writes it out and then tracks it in one take. And he shares me the video, and I said, dude, I know Rich. I said, yes, he's a beast. You should see him.
Oh, that's funny. I appreciate that. That's my friend Craig Zarkos. And
okay.
He's a great drummer and producer. He's into filmmaking now, and he's managing bands. He's one of those guys that does a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
He's in San Diego, and so we became pals. And when I was there to do a crash course, he said, "Hey man, let's that charting system you use. Every drummer has a little bit of a shorthand or a little bit of the way that they can hear a song and create a cheat chart."
Right.
And for me, it's been a way of life. For the last 20 years, to do last-minute gigs and to do recording sessions. So I've developed my own shorthand. He goes, let's show everyone, how you do that, demonstrate that. I'm going to play you this song for the first time.
Yeah.
You're going to hear it. And he says, I'm going to have the camera over your shoulder, and you could show everybody how you chart this. And then you're going to get one shot, go in there and go play this thing. And he goes, that was my test. He said, I wanted to really see if you could do that. And it just worked out. It was like a great song by this really cool band, great young band, and I don't know, it just resonated with me. We had a good day, and he had some nice high-definition cameras there, and it was just a great video. And I'm redoing richredmond.com to make it a little bit more state-of-the-art, and I'm going to have that video archived there, so whoever wants to check that out.
Cool. Actually, the question that my reader asked was, he loved the snare sound. What kind of snare? How was it tuned?
Yeah, okay. I don't know exactly. I'm sure it was from the Ludwig family.
Okay.
Because everybody knows that the Superphonic series, the Black Beauty series, and the Acrolite series are three of the most recorded drums in history.
Right. Yeah.
And I believe that was a 6.5 Supraphonic.
Okay.
Supraphonic drum, and it had probably a coated Emperor on it, which is a double ply head, and it probably just had a little bit of tape off to the side there, and just a good mic, good engineer, and the right touch, and it just those drums know how to. They just automatically sit in the track really nicely, and they're really versatile. So.
And that the thing about your playing too, and I interrupted myself. Cobham once said of himself that when he was younger, he looks at some of his tracks when he's younger and says, I wouldn't play as much. I think I overplayed some stuff. Tastefully, but he says, I think I'd play it simpler. The thing about your playing is, in your prime, you're playing so simple, but so tasteful. And and not that you don't have the capability and facility to do that, because your educational background and the millions of hours of gigs you played. You're played with some Latino bands. You have the chops. You just don't.
It's like we have the chops.
So what is that discipline for you to just serve the song and not go off?
I think that I appreciate it. I think it comes from experience. The red light will tell all. So these younger players, when they get experience and they're going in the studio for the first time and they're listening to playbacks and they're like, wow, the time is waffling. It's really the time is wobbly, and I really don't have my sounds together. And and the fill choices that they choose are not what I would call classic. And the reason why you hear certain fills that are used over and over in Motown and Stax and metal and pop and rock, is that those combinations of notes and that particular rhythm just works in that style of music, and being able to shape a song.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of times I'm like, am I really going to do this fill again? But it just sits in the track. It doesn't distract from the vocal.
Right.
And in popular music, it's all about that vocal. Everything you're going to need to know is in that vocal.
Absolutely.
So when you're putting a mix together, a cue mix together, that's what you really want to have is that reference. Is that for me, it's kick, bass. I have the guitars pan, the other instruments are crept in there, and I have that vocal and the bass.
Yeah.
So I can lock with the bass and create that foundation, and then just do my best to stay out of the way, and also paint a positive picture, and try to create if I can get away with some cool drumistic things and have a little hi-hat bark or a bell of the cymbal, or creative use of a rim or a drag.
Yeah.
That's cool. Most people don't notice that stuff. It's us guys that notice that
for
stuff.
sure. Actually, a band I subbed in with played She's Country, and there's a fill you do in that just, it's the coolest fill. I think it's one of the only fills you play, but it's just so tasty, and it was in the right spot at the right time.
Well, it's just, it's everything is timing, especially in our business, and just finding those holes to be able to make, whether it's stopping on beat 3 and then four tone on beat 4,
right.
or the band stops on beat 4 and you stop on the end of 3.
Yeah.
God, yes. You lift off of that and they choke on 4. Little tricks like that, but that all comes from experience, I think. Being in a recording studio and then hearing playbacks and going, that didn't work.
Yeah.
So, look, can I redo this? And then you make a mental note to yourself, keep it simple, stupid.
So speaking of that, Crash Course for Success.
Yeah.
Now, when last we talked, this wasn't developed yet. And this thing's taken off. This is big. This is a really interesting thing, and it's probably one of the most relevant courses for drummers.
Well, I have a friend, I'm sorry to cut you off. I have a friend, I started doing, pitching the event to people in, I would say, like 07, 08. I started making cold calls myself and just reaching out to like high school educators and college educators,
right.
and mom and pop music store owners, small drum shops, and just saying, hey, I'm in town with the Jason Aldean Band. Would you like to host a free clinic? I'll help you with the marketing. I have a poster. At the time I was endorsing Sonar Drums,
right.
and I had my own set of Sonar Drums, and so someone from the drum shop or the music store would pick me up, and we would schlep the drum set in set everything up, and I would have materials, and the sponsors that I have been incredible, over the years, Reno and Sabian, Promar, Gator, Audio Technica, and they're big believers in education, so I had the right team, and then I said, let me make sure I have a really thoughtful and relevant concept. And so I have a friend who's also a motivational speaker, and he said, dude, how about Crash? And we started thinking about what are some global concepts that drummers and musicians and people from all walks of life can use to attract success and use to their benefit to create a positive quality lifestyle. Commitment, relationships, attitude, skill, and hunger. So this is the event. It's a feel-good event. I tell stories about my survival tactics in the music business, and some nuggets of wisdom things that I find that have helped me along the way. And you take it or leave it. Either way, it's going to be fun. It's going to be music and dancing. So it's great. No, but it's it can always be bigger. I think down the line, I think that it has a potential for books and possibly a DVD that hopefully a year from now there'll be some sort of instructional DVD. And I've even been flirting with some college music programs about making Crash part of a curriculum.
Yeah, that's cool. And we were talking about this today about how you present yourself, because you can be an incredibly talented player, but you can also present yourself in such a way that it's not really all that appealing. And one thing about your career, you're doing a lot of stuff, but everything you do is packaged well. It looks good, but there's the substance behind it too.
Oh, man.
What if you could give advice to say someone starting out who's looking to do something like you're doing, what are top 3 things outside of drumming you need to cover and need to be aware of?
Well, it's so funny. I was talking to Stan Moore last night, and he said the successful, and he got this advice from another a drumming legend.
Yeah.
Here's how you make a successful clinic or an educational event. Have a message.
Yeah.
Teach everyone something. Make them laugh.
Yeah.
And play your ass off.
Yeah.
So I think to me it's the old adage of the concept of edutainment. You definitely always be teaching people something that they can take with them, but do it in an entertaining manner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because people have really short attention spans, including myself. So you really have to have some sort of a positive message or spin, and I think everybody has something unique to offer. You just have to reach down, dig deep, and say, what are my life experiences?
Yeah.
If you're a drummer playing with a big international pop touring sensation, I don't necessarily want to hear you play samba at 5/4. I want to know what your experience is like in playing with that international pop star. Yeah. Life on the road, expectations from that person. What are the job requirements?
Right.
Interesting stories.
Yeah, for sure.
Things that people can take with them.
And now you're writing a book that is actually, we're going to go even into now influencing the younger generation.
Yeah.
You're writing a book aimed at kids, and the concept is really cool.
Well, I appreciate that. I was impressed that the title wasn't taken, but we're going to be calling it Fun, capital F-U-N, Fundamentals of Drumming for Children ages 5 through 10.
Yeah.
And I have an amazing co-author, and he lives in the D.C. area. His name is Michael Albrecht. And at heart, he's a drummer, and he'll always be a drummer and a fine drummer. He sends me videos of him jamming. I'm like, dude, that's great. But he happens to also be a historian, a published author, and a filmmaker. So he knows how to write a book. So I love having somebody in my life that has already gone through that process and kind of is holding my hand, and we're kind of doing it together.
Yeah.
And I feel like we have tons of potential to create a series of books, like a lot of books within series. But the idea is that there is not a whole lot of material that is truly fun and exciting for kids that want to just start playing drums. Like I started playing the drums when I was 7 years old. So that age between 5 and 10, there's not a lot of material.
Right.
And then also, the kids that are 5 years old, their feet can't reach the pedals.
Right.
So DW, I'm a proud endorser of DW Drums. I've been there about a little bit over a year now. They have a thing called a starter kit.
Right.
And this is a smaller kit. It's a professional level drum set. It has real drum heads in it. It sounds great. Cool. And there's a cymbal pack, and it's ready to go out of the box. You can get it at Guitar Center. You can order it from DW, and the kids can reach the pedals.
Yeah.
So my idea is to cross promote the book with the kit.
Yeah. And that's such a good thing, right? Because our industry is based on. Right from the get-go, the kid needs to be inspired. It needs to be a fun thing. And especially if it's, wow, I've got my own kit.
Yeah.
There's a book that keeps me going. That's important.
Well, it's really fun, because I was kind of like an overachiever, and I was natural. I was naturally attuned to playing the drums.
You were going to be a drummer.
At 8 years old, I was playing 5-stroke rolls and flams and flam tacks, and I was reading, and I was playing the Joel Rothman books. But for somebody who just wants to crack the nut open, it's like, okay, this is what notes are, and we have cute little note characters, that they're kind of caricatures. And we talked about the history of the drums, which is man's first instrument, and then we go into some famous drummers.
Yeah.
And then my methodology is that we get the kids clapping rhythms, so they know how to sing and clap their rhythms, and they see what it looks like on paper. Then the next step is for them to play on a hand drum. So they play those same exact rhythms on a hand drum, and they're tapping into something very primitive and something very visceral. Their hands on a membrane, so they get that feeling. Then we put the sticks in their hand, and they play those same rhythms on one surface.
Right.
Then we introduce the feet, so we get them doing their feet. Then we do two-way coordination between the kick and snare, boom, pop, boom, pop. We add the hi-hat, so we create three-way coordination. So next they're playing the money beats. These are the things that they, just by instinct, have heard on the radio, and their parents, while they're in the womb, they heard the money beats. And then, for the kids that are closer to age 10, or who are really gifted, we add the left foot hi-hat. so they're doing four-way coordination. And then we close out the book with some 12 and 16 bar solos that are, bat, bat, boom, boom, bat, bat, boom, boom, phrases, ba, 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 doo, 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 ba, 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 doo, doo, doo. It doesn't get too intense. There's no roughs, there's no flams, there's no radamucus, there's no paradiddles. We don't get into that.
Right.
We just want to make them fall in love with the instrument.
Yeah.
So that's the goal of the book, and we're thinking about doing some self-publishing. And for the moment, I have a meeting with my friends at the Drum Channel, and we're going to see if it's something we can do together. If not, hopefully somebody will jump on board.
Yeah. No, I mean that's a great idea, and I think it you look at, especially like when I was taking lessons, and even when I taught, a lot of the material isn't aimed for a very young student. It's you still sort of got to be an older student. So I think it's really cool that you've come up with something.
They got to be able to read the codes.
Yeah. So now you wrapped up with Jason this year. Next year, you guys will be new albums dropping.
And a new album came out 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
And thank you to everybody that bought the record. It went gold in 2 weeks, which is really, really exciting. And we have a bunch of West Coast TV promo to do.
Yeah.
We did Good Morning America, live with Kelly, Kelly Ripa.
Yeah.
And then we got some West Coast stuff coming up, and we're gonna close it down for the holidays.
Cool.
And some family time.
Yeah.
And we're gonna start up next year, and I think it's gonna be a great year.
Yeah. You're still based out of Nashville. And again, last we talked, it was just you were a guy who was working on getting into the Nashville scene. Has anything changed for you in the last 4 years? Is that that big dream of being the Nashville recording guy or being a Nashville cat? Is that being realized, or is that actually? Do you feel like that's changing a lot too?
What's really funny is that I get emails from kids all the time that are graduating from the MIs, the Berkeleys, the North Texas States, the UNCs, the University of Miami's, and they're not going to New York or LA anymore. They're coming to Nashville.
Right.
It's really interesting. I mean, everybody is coming to Nashville because it seems like it is one of the last places on earth where there is a style of music that across the board is popular and is putting butts in seats.
Yeah. And
there's musicians that are all tracking in the same room at the same time. We still do that.
Right.
And it's a wonderful process, and it feels great to be part of that. And it's easy to get around Nashville. It's affordable, and there's a community. There truly is a community of people that help each other and co-write with each other and lift each other up and hold a torch for each other. And it's truly a community in Nashville. And it's easy to, I want to say it's easy to get connected. It may be harder than anywhere in the world to get connected because the funny thing is that there's less and less records being made, and the songs are staying longer on the charts. So from everybody, every facet of the business, whether you be a songwriter or a session drummer or a touring, there's less jobs and more competition.
Yeah.
So I feel really fortunate, but I never am one to rest on my laurels. So in the meantime, I've been also pressing, westward. I have a place in Studio City in LA, and I'm renting with my wife because my wife does business out there. And as much as I can get out there, and I've got to playing a gig at the Roxy in January with a friend of mine, a rock artist whose record I played on, and man, I'll go play a bar mitzvah, in the sun and the palm trees. I love it, man. I'm not proud.
Yeah.
So we're excited about all that.
Yeah, that's cool. And as well, so you're still teaching. You still have your teaching practice. You still teach in 4 different cities. The last time we talked, Nashville, LA. You're teaching in New York, and I can't remember the other one.
Well, the thing is that I'm letting everybody know that I'm open to those things while I'm on tour.
Cool.
You can go to jasonaldean.com. You can see our tour dates, and you can reach out to me. I'm pretty easy to find. You just hit me at booking at Rich Redmond, and whether you want to hire me for a recording session or teaching lessons via Skype, or say, hey, you're going to be in Indianapolis, Indiana, on June such and such, and if I have time between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m., I'm either going to teach or I'm going to do a clinic or a master class in that city. Yeah. So if you really want to take a lesson bad enough, I mean, I've done crazy things where I have somebody, it's like a Tupperware party, but it's a drum party, and somebody will host me at their house, and we'll do like a master class at their house. Right. Or We'll do it at the local drum shop.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't want to sit on the bus and play video games.
No.
So
Yeah,
you know, if I'm in your city and we can do something together, I'm all about it.
Cool,
you know?
cool. Yeah, and you can also find Rich's details on our GED. Just click on the link. Rich is in there as well.
Cool.
So, what's coming up for you in the next couple weeks, couple months?
Oh, you know what's really exciting is, you know, I have a production company called New Voice Entertainment, and we call ourselves Envy.
Nice.
So this is the rhythm section from the Jason Aldean Band, my longtime friends and bandmates Kurt Allison on guitar and Tully Kennedy on bass, and we've been playing together as a rhythm section since 1999.
Wow.
So 3 presidencies, and you know, they're all fathers now, and you know, you know, we have houses, and we have seen a lot of things. Love those mortgages. Things have come and gone, and we've stuck it out together, and we have a 4th partner named David Fanning, and we've had this production company for 5 years called New Voice Entertainment, and we have an act that we just love working with that has had some success called Thompson Square. It's a husband and wife duo, and they had the #1 most played song on country radio for 2011. It was called "Are You Gonna Kiss Me or Not?" And so it was a big old #1 hit, and they've had 2 top 10s since then, and their 4th single is about to actually just drop to radio.
Right.
And it hit almost half of all the reporting stations. So there's the Big Brother stations. There's 120 of them, and their record was added on nearly half of them the first week. So I feel really good about this single. And we're going to be finishing up their second record, their sophomore record. And then we're also working with some other artists, a girl named Christy Lee Cook that was on American Idol season 7, a fine young Canadian talent named Lindsay L. So she's this guitar slinger. She's an awesome songwriter. If Keith Urban and Taylor Swift had a love child,
there you go.
That's Lindsay L.
Nice.
And we have a killer rock band called Harmony. And they're a country band. They have a song on country radio that's in the top 40. It's called "Musta Had a Good Time." But this is a brother, 2 brothers in the band, and then a cousin and a family friend. It's a family band. And they've been in Winnebago taking music to the people for like the last decade. So we didn't have to get them vocal coaches and performance coaches and media coaches. They just know what to do. And so they're out there taking the music to the people. So this fall we'll be finishing up all these records. Hopefully bring these things to the light of day, man.
Some good music out.
And then just keep sprinkling in sessions and teaching and writing the book and you know.
Cool, man.
Just having a great time.
It was so good to meet you finally.
Yes. Thanks for having me.
Thanks everybody for watching. Click like, tweet, +1, whatever you want to do. Leave a comment. If you got a question for Rich, richredmond.com.
richredmond.com. Booking at richredmond.com will get me for everything, lessons, sessions, and I'm on Twitter at richredmond.com.
There you go.
No, is it at? No, it's just Twitter is at richredmond. REDMOND.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you later.